after our hearts stop beating, where historically we've thought this is the time of death, the brain electricity is still going.
That is
not just going. The brain is not going out in a whimper. There's a massive explosion of activity, similar to expansive memory brain waves, similar to dreaming brain waves. The brain is having its final moment, maybe its best moment. Massive release of neurotransmitters.
With another video. Hope everyone out there is having a good day, y'all. Hope everyone's been having a good weekend. We're back, y'all. We're back on this beautiful Sunday. We got an hour banger coming up. We're going to take a walk on the dark side of TikTok. You guys have seemed to be loving the walk on the dark side. So we're going to keep checking out this dark side of TikTok, y'all. But just remember, these videos, they're for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe everything you see in these clips. Make sure you guys go out there and do your own research. With that being said, enough with the chit chat. You know my damn slogan. Let's do what we all came here for. Let's go and get into the reaction. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Did anyone catch that new KFC commercial they just put out a few days ago, y'all? Am I the only one that see the deeper occult esoteric symbolism behind this? Like, there was a full-on secret society meeting in the woods. Now, I'm gonna play the video, but at the end of the video, they flash these words, believe in chicken, and there's a gold cosmic egg right there, and lately people have been talking about the cosmic egg. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about this, y'all, because we're gonna get deeper into this.
Chick-fil-A or KFC commercial. What the heck is this? It's supposed to be like the gravy, and the humans are the chickens? Gravy, y'all.
Have you seen the recent photo from NASA going viral? To me, that looks like a firmament. But you know, this could be fake. Let me show you something real. Last time I checked, guys, clouds weren't 93 million miles away. But apparently the sun is, and the sun can be within the clouds. Check out it in the infrared. Look, it's literally within the clouds.
We see that time and time again.
Strange.
This is why we need to stop giving our children tests. My son got a 7 out of 15 on this math test. He's in 4th grade. I don't even understand this. I am 38 years young. I have no fucking idea how they even figure out these decimal math problems, which you will never, ever, ever probably use again in your entire life. And if you do need to use them, well, there's this thing called the calculator, Alexa, ChatGPT. And I'm sorry, but you know what my son wrote on here? He wrote, I suck. This is what is wrong with the education system. This shit right here is my son feeling like he sucks because he didn't do good on some fucking test that even adults can't figure out.
So we're out here in Arizona and we are observing a vortex. Then this is what you see. You see usually 2 cactuses planted, we'll say planted, in the same spot, and then as they go up, they spiral, just like a tornado. And this is where people used to find ley lines while they were going around dousing with their hands or with the hazel stick, and they would find beautiful ley lines and vortices, and then find water underneath this spot. So here's another example of a vortex, and you see the spiraling of the cactus. And this is how you know you're on an energetic ley line. And usually, when you're at a ley line, it's very, very quiet. That's how you know. And we're doing a little hike over by the McDowell Mountains, and we found this cactus. Check this out. Looks like it's been sliced or something, but it's interesting because cactuses turn into petrified trees, and then petrified trees turn into materials. So, something to think about, especially when there's some deep holes into the earth right over there on that mountain.
Experimental.
We got an Arizona trip coming up for Easter. Me and Mama Bear and the baby, taking the baby to my hometown for the first time, y'all. I can't wait. Taking cruising down my old streets, and you know I'm gonna be back out on those trails. I'm gonna be out there running. I can't wait to hit those trails, y'all. I think about them all the time. I'll be out there running, y'all.
Of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation.
الجمعية العامة المتحدة بتفتح ملف اغتيال كندي الرئيس الأمريكي. لماذا؟ نبغى نعرفه. قتله واحد اسمه لي هارفي. جاء واحد اسمه جاك روبي قتل لي هارفي قاتل كندي. لماذا قتله؟ لي جاك روبي إسرائيلي قتل لي هارفي اللي قاتل كندي. لماذا هذا الإسرائيلي يقتل قاتل كندي؟ ثم جاك روبي قاتل كندي مات قبل إعادة محاكمته في ظروف غامضة. لماذا؟ أرجع الملفات لازم نعرفها. أنا اللي نعرفها والعالم ممكن يعرفها واللي درسناها في التاريخ أن كندي قرر تفتيش مفاعل ديمونة الإسرائيلي. هل في قنابل ذرية وإلا لا؟ وعلشان كده تم تخلص منهم.
California, probably the most craziest state. They passed this thing called slave reparations. California's going to pay slave reparations to people who were never slaves, to be paid for by people who never owned slaves in a state that never had slaves. That's like paying child support for a child you never had with a woman you never f***ed. You know, it just doesn't.
You guys got to let me know, how is the screen while the TikToks are playing, because I got a new modem yesterday. Finally upgraded my modem to a nice HD 4K modem. So let me know, is it too zoomed in? Because I had it perfect how it was, but now I had to redo it. So let me know down below how it is, y'all.
Russia has banned hip hop.
They banned it?
Yeah. The Russian president does not allow hip hop.
You can't even listen to it, or
no?
Holy crap!
No.
So you want it banned?
Yeah.
But you love hip hop.
Oh, I do. I want all new music banned, and we just stick with what we got. Tupac, all what we got now. We can listen to all the old music, but no more new hip hop. Wow. It needs to be banned.
Dude, this new pyramid shit that's just come out?
Oh, this is insane. It's quite stunning. So apparently, through the use of LiDAR, they have discovered that there are enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that go kilometers deep into the earth with coils. So enormous pillars, and then these coils. They don't understand what it is because they're just looking at LiDAR images, but whatever this is a uniform structure. There's several pillars, and all of this is like very, very, very weird.
Yeah, 600 meters descending down those cylinders, and then there's more stuff below it, and then there's additional structures inside of it. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's really crazy.
What's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock. In fact, over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground. 2 kilometers. Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep, deep down. This is what we know so far.
You guys ever get the feeling like this has never been discovered, since our civilization has been around. Like, Do you ever think that maybe the more and more we start unlocking is when the reset happens? Once we get to that final straw, okay, they're about to figure it out. Start them over. Like, I don't know why I feel like that. Like, because we're starting to find out a lot of things that have never been found out. We're learning that, oh, we've been here not 60,000 years, we've been here 500,000 years. Like, we're starting to just, our knowledge in this ancient technology is getting super close. And I don't know, y'all.
Adam 22 out here building cases on folks. So what people are trying to say is that Adam 22 is the reason why Big U, Brick Baby, and all them other Crips just got hit with a RICO. They saying, you know how Adam be on the show acting federal, asking wild questions, even though people be having little pending cases? They like, Adam 22 never care about that. Why is that? Adam 22 quickly responded to all the haters on a video saying, y'all got me fucked up. I don't have nothing to do with none of that. Don't compare me to that other boy over there that be doing videos, Vlad TV. Look, this what Adam 22 had to say. Y'all got him fucked up. That's what he said.
I see a lot of people saying that 22 is the reason why Brick got caught up.
Are you?
Fuck out of here. 22, you know what I do? I put people in position, put them on the podcast, give them jobs, help them make legal money. A lot of the shit that people are getting caught up for is shit, especially with Brick. It's like, I'm not seeing anything that says anything about stuff that he's done in the last 2 years since he's been fucking with
He
us,
talks
right?
about it the whole damn time.
End of the day, that's my boy. I'm standing with him. Loose, I got love for Loose too.
Okay.
Documenting this whole thing, helping them along the way, whatever it is. So, anybody acting like this is because of No Jumper? No Jumper was the antidote to this bullshit.
Adam said y'all got him messed up. He's putting people in position to get real money, not that street money. He said he put people on his podcast so we can all make money. He said middle finger up to all the haters.
Well, he is putting people on there to make real money because they're making real money off YouTube, right? I don't know how much, like what they're talking about is the nonsense. Y'all, I'm all over this. Like, there's people that get into, Jodi Arias or Casey Anthony or, the OJ trial back in the day. I'm hooked on this, y'all. I'm into it because these dudes just went online and gave everything out, talked about watch. We got some clips coming up of this Big U extorting people, and then we got a clip of a rapper that's like, because you'll see it's all connected right here, y'all.
The
But I'm
Nipsey
all over
died.
this.
He tried to get Whack 100 to extort Nipsey's family. Oh, but that's playing out in court right now. But for me, there was a time that I used to say, I wouldn't wish jail on nobody. I can't wait. I am going to celebrate. I cannot wait for the police to catch Big U. I was so disgusted in Mano and Jim Jones when they had Big U walking through Brooklyn after that nigga what they did to Nipsey Hussle. Disgusted. Like, how y'all niggas hanging out with Big U and y'all know what he did to Nipsey? Shitty cuz can't make no call like that without Big U. Big U, how does it feel to know that you are going to die in jail 9 times out of 10? You are too old to do a bid. Big U, if you're watching this, I wouldn't turn myself in if I was you.
No, that's what's
You're
crazy.
done. Stick a fork. You're done, my nigga. Stick a fork in them. You're done. But this is just part 1 of my rant. Don't say I didn't tell y'all so. I was one of the main people tearing down this internet, telling y'all about them checking in with who, the boogeyman? Did y'all hear the stories of how many rappers Big U set up? I'm just mad my nigga Loose Cannon got caught up in this. Shout out to you, Loose, man. Hold your head. You know what I mean? Hold your head. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
In the hood. That's how we do it, you know, man.
Top flight, baby. Security.
GB running this here movie set in the hood.
Come on out here. coming out here and checking in with GB, getting these movies done. You better know it. Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in, oh well. Check your ass out. We gonna check you in, all right. We gonna check in all of your equipment.
That's what's crazy, y'all. Like, he got on Instagram Live saying this. Like, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? You like do what you got, but don't put it on. Like, that's gonna be played in court, right there. That's extortion. Can't do that. And people saying we're gonna check you out. We're gonna steal all your equipment. Put it on live. Put it on camera. 50, 60-year-old man doing that. Like, okay, if you're gonna do it, make a phone call. You know what I mean? I don't know. If you're gonna do it, like, I don't understand why they incriminate themselves to brag. Like, I don't get it. And that's not a 20-year-old doing that. That's a 60-year-old, y'all, that's been around.
Out, and then they have to
that's why I'm all over
have
this.
an experience before they realize I should have checked in. You know what I mean? Or I should have called, or I should have been moving a certain way. And so they get out, and they might be under your banner, but then they not respecting the banner. They ain't calling you. They got your number. They know who you is, but they feel like they bigger than the program. You know, and you got a lot of dudes, like when I was here last time, that claim my neighborhood that's in this music, but they don't really fuck with us until it's a problem. Then they call them. Like Quando Rondo. I just showed Envy. Like, you can't call me now. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't fuck with me before that. You know what I mean? You had my number. You could have called me. You could have did all that. You know what I mean? But he was around about. But how is that fair to me? How is that fair to our team, though? You know what I mean? The youngsters get
rumors that
Okay, right here. He breaks it down, y'all. This is a grown man right here. He's young too. He's half the age of the dude that was talking before. But listen to what he said. This is what I'm saying. What I don't understand, y'all.
probably one of the most dangerous places for rappers. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah. Because, I mean, everybody be checking in. That's y'all favorite thing to do. Check in with somebody that's gonna rob your stupid ass.
Right.
We'll be at this hotel.
Yo, you
this
think
time.
that guy, the guy that you don't know, motherfucker, in California got your back? The guy that got beef with other hoods and all this, you checking into that dude?
Right.
Bro, just go to the hotel, get you something to eat, go back to the hotel.
Do your business.
Go have some fun.
Right.
Where shit is fun. Why do you want to go over there?
Right.
For what? Don't call me.
Right.
Oh, it's motherfuckers be having a nerve to call me sometime. Like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm playing video games. My daughter got a soccer game tomorrow, bro. Grow the fuck up. Like, I'm not about to drive over here to Beverly Hills and drop you off.
Why do you think NBA ratings are so low? They're 50%.
Because like, think about it, the greatest player that's been the greatest guy in the NBA is who?
LeBron.
Exactly. LeBron just did what? Got his son in the NBA, and his son playing the G League, drafted what, second round?
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, it's jokes.
Satan was never kicked out of heaven. You got this Christian mythological doctrine out there that Satan got into a fight with God, and God got mad and kicked him out of heaven. When you read Job chapter 1, around verse 6, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence camest thou? And then Satan asked the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And when you read on, the Lord says, Have you considered my servant Job? So when was this war in heaven? When was Satan kicked out? He was never kicked out. That's a Christian lie. Satan is under God's authority. 100%.
Did y'all hear what Tucker Carlson had to say? I'm telling y'all, something big may be coming or happening this year, because look what he had to say. Y'all check this out.
It's mass casualties and mass chaos, like true chaos. Oh, yeah. People are not prepared for this. They haven't thought it through. Our leaders have not prepared them for it at all. It's like, oh, it's on your iPhone. You don't have an iPhone, and there's no electricity, and there's no water. There is no one there to call, period. And then people start behaving in ways that are ridiculous. Dead people and people getting shot. I was just like, this cannot be America. And that could happen. That's not science fiction.
Now, let me ask you a question. Isn't this what they've been getting us ready for? Our leaders, right? This what they've been meeting for, about this huge blackout that they have been telling us for quite some time. And even Donald Trump was caught saying something like this, y'all. Check this out and let me know what you guys think.
This old and, could be taken out. If it's taken out, they wouldn't have any way to get any.
Trump is reminding us that our grid is old, and with all this radiation that's coming from the sun, the solar flares, the X flares, right? It's making our grid more vulnerable. And the magnetosphere, I don't even know if you guys know this, but it has a huge hole in it, and they're trying to keep it hush-hush, y'all. So this is the other reason why we've been seeing those flashing lights going on everywhere too, y'all. Y'all remember that? Those flashing lights have been happening. So I believe something big is going to take place this year, y'all. What do y'all think? Especially with those flashing lights and then the blackout in Chile, because they're telling us what's coming to the world, what's coming to the earth. Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Is my new TikTok. Follow my new TikTok. Let's get this shifted. Peace out.
I just seen a clip of a dolphin, and it really changed my mind about a lot of things, because I thought the reason we wasn't allowed to communicate with dolphins was because of Lovett and Peter the dolphin did what? That happened a long time ago, the little weird NASA study that nobody ever really talks about anymore, and I probably wouldn't look up because it's kind of freaking not kind of bad, it's real bad. Anyways, I thought that was the whole reason we wasn't allowed to communicate specifically with dolphins, but after seeing this little video...
Mama. Yeah.
That damn thing just said mama. I know it's squeaking, but it sounds like it's just repeating the words that are coming out of her mouth. And if that's possible, and dolphins are considered one of the most intelligent species on Earth, then is the reason we're not allowed to communicate with them because they know some stuff about the bottom of the ocean? Are they about to spill the freaking tea? I don't freaking know, but all I do know, there's some weird stuff happening, and those one people said that there was freaking UFOs and aliens in the bottom of the ocean. I don't know what's happening anymore, but it's freaking happening.
There are rural towns in Ireland that have been overrun in one swoop, that have become a minority in one swoop.
So Irish media are losing their mind over this, saying he doesn't represent us. Let's take one rural town in Ireland called Listonvarna. In 2018, Listonvarna was 95% Irish. They then had a vote on whether they wanted an asylum centre in their town. 93% of them voted no. The government forced it upon them anyway. Today, that town is 36% Irish. It went from 95% to 36% in only a few years. And the Irish media doesn't talk about it. They pretend it's not happening.
Huge mistake in the relationship between humans and these other civilizations. When we detonated the first atomic bomb and the subsequent ones, when those go off, there's an attending so-called scalar or longitudinal wave that is faster than the speed of light that disrupts the fabric and communication and propulsion guidance systems of extraterrestrial vehicles. This is why they came in huge force in the 40s and 50s. And this is why every single atomic and nuclear weapon storage facility, processing plant and base, and ship has been surveilled by these ET vehicles, because they, when those things are used, it's like tearing the fabric of space-time.
Yo, be careful what you have on your phone when you're traveling. I just got back to the U.S., right, because the boat returned to the U.S., and upon coming, I was randomly searched. And these dudes, they asked me a bunch of questions. I'm thinking everything's cool, right? And then right at the end, they're like, okay, we got one more step for you. This is an electronic search. So what that mean? They bring me to a back room. They make me take everything off, anything I got on me. They told me I need to give up the phone. And for me, at first I'm like, whoa, give up the phone? There's no way you going through my phone. And they giving me the little pamphlet. They're like, basically, we ain't no regular cops. Like, you coming back into the United States, this is Customs and Border. Anything you bring in, we can search it. And yeah, I had to give up my phone. Had to let them search through that whole thing. I be trying to know my rights, right? But it's like, this ain't no police. It's the Customs and Border Protection. Like, it's federal. So yeah, basically, I had no rights in that situation. I had to give up everything. They searched through everything they wanted. And yeah, be careful. Even if you're coming on a cruise or whatever you're doing, if you're traveling, when you come back to the U.S., you could randomly get searched like me. So you got something on your phone for me. Don't Don't be dumb. They gonna look through the whole shit, and there's nothing you could do about it.
This is where I used to go camping. Close to it. Big lake.
That means you can't rely on the media as it is today either.
Oh, of course not. All the media in this country, radio, television, and print, is all owned by 5 corporations. All of these corporations that own the media are owned and controlled. Members of the Council on Foreign Relations sit on their board of directors. You can trace that yourself.
Okay.
Remember, if you go down and you trace the ownership of a station or a newspaper, you get to a corporation. Remember that somebody owns that corporation, and it's usually another corporation. You trace the interlocking of all these things. We get to the top, there's 5. All journalists know that there's some things you don't write about, you don't talk about, because you'll lose your job. That's where the control is. That's why they pay anchormen like Dan Rather $1 million a year.
Do you think it's possible that people are encouraging war because they're profiting from it?
Yeah, for example, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, so she bought this company called Viasat. And what Viasat does is they do the communications for the military. They get hundreds of millions of dollars a contract. She sits on the committee that oversees military construction.
Nothing. Once I discovered that, I say, okay, this world that we live in could possibly be a stage. And I need to try to get to the bottom of it before I decide to have children. And when I discovered what I discovered, I decided I wasn't going to have children because the only way to prepare for the future is to study history. There's a very large gap in our fossil record for being a human being. Something happened. There's a very large gap in the fossil record and the historical record. And once I found out that song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, was the slaves praying and hoping that a UFO would come down and would take them away from here, that opened up my eyes to okay, I got to look at the world a lot different.
Yeah.
Everything that's being shown to me is not the truth. Manufactured media can control narratives and actually brainwash people, because in North Korea, they use propaganda, television, media to brainwash people. And a guy from the CIA told me that the whole universe is based off sound, light, and frequency. Look that up.
That's
Your father's sperm doesn't just pass on his DNA. It passes on his life experiences, his stress, his fears, and even his emotional patterns. Here's how it works. When your father created you, his sperm didn't just carry genetic material. It carried epigenetic markers that were shaped by his life. This means that every time he dealt with stress, faced trauma, or even lived through major life events, those moments didn't just affect him. They affected the sperm that created you. Let me put this into perspective. If your dad went through something like emotional hardship, unhealthy relationships, or even had poor nutrition, those experiences physically changed the way his genes were expressed, and those changes were passed down to you. So when you feel anxious, struggle with stress, or notice emotional patterns that just don't make sense, it's not just you. It could be the imprint of your father's nervous system and his emotional struggles living on inside you. And the most mind-blowing part, you can change it. You can rewrite the story of your nervous system, your emotions, and your reaction.
He created 12 notes of music, Pythagoras did. When you get to the 13th one, you double the vibration. And he made mathematical formulas for chords. Out of the 12 notes, 1, 5, and 8 is every major chord. Whatever one is, put the 5th note and 8th note with it, and you're making that major chord. If you lower the 5th one down to the 4th one, you're making a minor chord. Leave it down and lower 8 to 7, you're making a diminished chord. Yeah. Go back to your major chord and raise 8 to 9, you're making an augmented chord. Raised it to a 10, double augmented. And when Monroe sung Sweetheart of Mine, Can't You Hear Me Calling, how many times when Mac Wise on that high note, he raised the tenor 2 half tones to a double augmented fourth, and that's what he sung.
Why do you think it takes, like, this is one thing I've noticed in my government. It's like, no matter who's in office, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, it's always the same shit. Nothing ever changes, you know? It's like you would think at some point they would give you you would get some of these things solved. Like even with this, like why does it take something so long? Like are both sides just screwing?
Yes.
You start to think that just both sides are just screwing us.
Well, we need term limits.
I do this Taco Bell commercial at the age of 15, and I'm ignorant to residual checks. The way I think you got to work to get paid, work to get paid, work to get paid. I don't know nothing about residual checks at the time. I end up doing this Taco Bell commercial, and all these checks start coming in. And I thought it was a computer mess up, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know, like, this how you get paid.
Yeah.
You know, I had my story for court. I'd be like, they kept on paying me. I don't know, right? Like, I'm ready, you know what I'm saying? And when it got weird, because they ran that commercial for almost up to a year, and I was getting all these checks, and I called up dude, and I said, why I keep on getting paid for this commercial? And he goes, that's how actors get paid. I said, what? I said, well, I want to be an actor.
This is what you look like after you come out of the crematorium. You're not ashes. After your bones cool off with this fan, your bones are taken to a grinder, which is over here, that grinds everything up. And then you're turned into that little powder that people call ashes.
That's a fairy. Oh my god, yo, that's a fairy. I'm recording this with an iPhone. I'm here with my family on a vacation. Not on a vacation, I'm just here because of my graduation. I just graduated and I'm seeing a fucking fairy in real life.
Let's think of that. It's fairy-esque. My legs. Clean this damn car, have some damn respect.
Maya Hawke recently had this to say about the state of casting in Hollywood, and it's honestly terrifying.
I care about Instagram. Instagram sucks. Right, but just so you know, if you have over this many followers, you can get the movie funded. Well, I want to make the movie, so it's a really confusing line to walk, and I've talked to so many smart directors who tell me that they get I'm talking to them about how I'm going to delete my Instagram, and they're like, just so you know, when I'm casting a movie with some producers, they hand me a sheet with the amount of collective followers I have to get of the cast that I cast. So if you delete your Instagram and I lose those followers, understand that these are the kinds of people that I need to cast around you.
If they're saying this to Maya Hawke, the daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, then we're in trouble. How many talented actors out there aren't being cast in a film because they don't have a huge social media following? This isn't how movie stars are made. And look, I think social media has done a lot of good for the film industry. You know, everyone's talents and voices are a lot more accessible than ever. But we can't let it dictate who gets cast in a film. The right person for the job, the best person for the job, should always be the one casted. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments.
Go from New York to Brazil, Buenos Aires, and Antarctica without ever coming up to the surface for air. And you can do it all at way more than 1,000 miles an hour on magnetic levitation trains, otherwise called maglev. One thing he told me, he went from Virginia to Los Angeles in 45 minutes. Do the math, 3,000 miles an hour. Most people don't even believe that there's a tunnel network. Hundreds of thousands of miles of tunnel systems.
Believe it.
Fire warnings and red flag warnings are going out all across the country. We've had hundreds of fires in the last few weeks just in America. But did you know it's not only America that's on fire? It's Europe, it's Russia, it's everywhere. We're about to look at the UK in 1 second, but I mean, look at this, you guys. What gets me the most is the commenters trying to be like, this is normal, this happens all the time. Here's UK. Like, I don't understand why the willful ignorance that something weird is not going on right now. If it's 1 or 2 fires in one place, okay, fine. But when you're looking at thousands of fires across the whole world every single day, this is Russia. A whole entire village is threatened by this fire. This was Arkansas yesterday. I mean, it's an everyday situation. Florida, South Carolina, and many other states under a fire watch, and some calling them a red flag watch. And then randomly out of nowhere, we have all the flights being canceled to this Heathrow airport, and now they are using the terror police to investigate it? And the thing is, it's not even hot yet. It's not even spring yet. We've been getting rain. You know, WNC is now on fire again. Yes, again. And this, in correlation with what we're about to get into in a few hours, is insane.
It's been reported in at least 10 states that fentanyl has been detected in marijuana. Now, I don't advise anyone to use drugs whatsoever, but if you're hell-bent on using drugs and you know that you're just going to have your fix, please protect yourself. Buy Narcan from your local Walgreens or off of Amazon so you can just use the nasal spray in the event that you feel like you are overdosing, and get fentanyl strips from Amazon. I don't know how it works, but you can get the strips and test the stuff that you're going to partake in. Again, I don't advise anyone to use drugs, and if you are on drugs, if you're on perks, if you're on marijuana, if you're on coke, if you're on whatever you're on, try your very best to get away from it. But the reports are serious, especially with the marijuana. It's been widely spread and reported that it's a spray-on fentanyl that's been on the marijuana. So please be careful. Please go get some Narcan, and please go get the fentanyl strips from Amazon and protect yourself. Positive Thursday.
They said most of the people still want to hang on to this world. You still planning for a future in this world. And in order to get to that, you got to give up all of this world. Now, we know that that don't mean now to make it so, because some people figure I still got a lot of work on the earth. I don't want to leave right now, leave my people behind. They're not talking about taking you somewhere and you don't come back. This mothership is for the first part of the 144,000 is to take you to prepare your body to be the cosmic warrior. Open you up and give you the knowledge of God. And make you God so you can come back and take this thing over God style. Which means the devil don't stand a chance. So that should be some ease to some of you all.
Yeah, I think it's just like, even to that clip before about drugs and all that, like, you just grow into a new conscience, into a new mindset, right? When you just quit, when I quit alcohol, like, I just grew into a new, like, a whole new mindset, y'all. My mindset shifted, right? Like, that's what it's about. It's about just growing. Like, I see so much people smoking weed, still doing, like, people from the past, like, still doing the same thing they've been doing, and they're in the same position they were 10 years ago, where I'm not trying to, like, think I'm better or anything, but, like, I've just grown, y'all. That's where growth comes, is by, getting rid of things that are not good for you. You know it's not good for you, right? Drinking, smoking, like, a lot of people say it's medicinal, all this, whatever, but at the end of the day, like, life can just grow so much when you give up these, it doesn't have to be that. It can be different addictions, like different, I don't know, everyone's is different. Right now, my thing is food. That's my one thing that I need to go to the next level of consciousness. I got to get clean eating, right? And That's the next thing, but it's so hard. Everyone's is different, and it's difficult for them. Like for some people, drinking is hard, like to give up, right? For me, it wasn't hard. It was hard for a long time, but when I gave it up, I gave it up. But some people, like, that's they can't. It's because that's their next thing to go to that next level of consciousness. So it's not going to be easy. It can be easy for some people. Like to some people, eating clean is a piece of cake, right? This guy's just undisciplined, lazy, has no. But there's things that they do that they're struggling with that I can do, and that's a piece of cake, right? Because that's not my level of consciousness to get me to the next level. That's how I feel, at least. So I feel like quitting your vices will get you to that next level in life, y'all.
Like, who could have ever thought, when they had such an incredibly sophisticated society, unbelievable construction, like the stuff that they had built, that one day you would just walk through there and there's nothing. Nothing and nobody.
In fact, there's something, because it's interesting. Somebody was flying by what they thought was a volcano in the 30s, some buzzboy. And he thought, hey, somebody built that. Wait a minute, there's 4 by 8 foot bricks. That's man-made. And it is literally the biggest pyramid in the world. It's bigger than the ones in Egypt, and it's in Guatemala.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. Yeah, it's a recent discovery, right?
Well, not that recent. I was, maybe 20 years ago, I visited. I went down there with the archaeologist, a guy named Richard Hansen, who's from Idaho or someplace. And he's down there with his family. He's been working tirelessly for like 30 years, trying to extract this pre-classic city from the jungle. And there's not a bunch of tourists. All the pyramids in Tikal would fit inside the one big pyramid in El Mirador.
Really?
Yeah. It's a monster. And so that tells you that the pre-classic civilization was bigger and grander and more sophisticated than the civilizations that came after it.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Well, it is unbelievable how, like, when you, the accounts of, like, people that visited Mexico and visited the Aztecs, like what the markets looked like and how insane it was and how gorgeous it was, and then just disease.
Yeah, disease, or I don't know if it was disease or what. I think the people were pretty dissatisfied. It would have been hard for Cortez, with his limited numbers, to actually take over a civilization like that, unless they kind of happened upon a civilization that was pretty dissatisfied with the way things were going.
Yeah.
So I think they had people to help them sort of
I'm
rebel.
sure.
I think people are missing the big picture as to what's really taking place here regarding the tariffs and just the United States as a whole. It's hard to keep a focus on things because so many things have happened. So allow me to just bring it a little bit back to the center and a focal point for you. For the longest time, I think we can agree on this, America was hijacked. It was sold out. It was stolen by those of the elite, the globalists, the powers that would be, presidents, congressmen, senators, on down the line. They did this in so many different ways. One of the biggest ways that they did it was in the 90s by signing NAFTA. Because what that did was take not a perfect system, but damn near as close as a perfect system could get as far as an economic system is concerned, with a manufacturing powerhouse of the world, America, and it took all of our manufacturing capability, upwards of 6 million jobs in that sector alone removed, and gave them to the likes of Canada, Mexico, China. But it didn't just stop there, because what it did was it ushered in mass profits by offshoring these companies, paying the workforce less. There was mass profits for the shareholders, which was owned by whom? Follow the money, BlackRock, the likes thereof. You know, these companies that were formulated in the late 80s, late 70s in some cases, really got gassed up. And then moving forward, there's things that I can't really talk about, but we had wars in the early 2000s and so forth that really enhanced the profits. And most importantly, they took place before the digital era came to be. And everything started to go at a faster pace. We lost our freedoms, and we lost so many other things. And along that way, we kind of lost translation of ourselves. But there was one guy that was out there that was constantly saying the same thing, because he was part of the faction of people. He was in the pockets of those that be the billionaire Donald Trump. Understand, Donald Trump hasn't surrounded himself with billionaires for the purpose of creating an oligarchy. These billionaires that he surrounded himself with are business owners in America that got to be wealthy because of Americans, because we build things. Their businesses were prosperous and beautiful, as were our livelihoods. Some of the people like Jeff Bezos, who employs over 1 million Americans, pays them fairly well for pretty much rudimentary jobs like driving. And Elon Musk for building one of the most American-made cars, which is pretty affordable, and paying those people astronomical sums in the workforce. Understand, the tariffs are a big giant fuck you to globalism because it's to give us our jobs back. It's nothing more. There's no other underlying reason. There's no deal that can be made. It's to bring our shit back that was stolen from us. When you see a fucking president say, go fuck yourself to the federal judge that has been bought and paid for, that is committing treason, that is because he is undoing a system that has been working against us for 30 or more years. Wakey, wakey.
After our hearts stop beating, where historically we've thought this is the time of death, the brain electricity is still going.
That is
not just going. The brain is not going out in a whimper. There's a massive explosion of activity, similar to expansive memory brain waves, similar to dreaming brain waves. The brain is having its final moment, maybe its best moment, a massive release of neurotransmitters.
Like I'm tingling all over my body.
And then for me, it starts to explain things like near-death experiences that in patients who have been brought back, maybe this explains why they say they had memories of their whole life, like a film strip play in their mind. I believe that maybe death in itself is one last massive dream, that the brain is a salvo of electrical and chemical activity is the way it says goodbye. And I'll send you the references for that. This is a massive thing that's coming down the field.
The door that opens is truly profound.
I think so. And that by itself shows us that we should be holding that loved one's hand longer than we have been.
Nurses say, don't they, that they continue speaking to patients so that they know they're not alone.
Then they've been right all along.
You know what I'm saying? That we're starting to get a little, like a lot of, we're starting to get close to breaking that door open. Like, oh, this is what happens after afterlife, and then boom. Like that's what I think, y'all. When we get too close to figuring everything out, and then start trying to manipulate that, because that's what they're going to do when they figure all this out. They're going to start manipulating things, right? That's when the great flood happens. I feel like.
Dismantling of the Department of Education. Let me go ahead and break it down.
Come on, talk about it.
You got a whole bunch of people who think that these kids who don't get food at home will no longer get food at school because there is no DOE. First of all, it's the Department of Agriculture that handles the school meals. So there's still no child that's going to be left hungry. The next thing that I heard was that, oh my God, they're going to get rid of the Pell Grant and all of these other things so that HBCUs are going to suffer and kids who can't afford school aren't going to be able to go to school. Those instances, that subset of issues is going to be moved over to the Department of Treasury, and they're going to handle your new Pell Grants and your student aid and things like that. And then they'll say things like, oh my God, well, they're not going to fund disabilities or the IEP programs. That's being moved over to the Department of Health and Human Services. So if more black people knew that, we wouldn't have this uproar about the DOE going. And then let me also tell y'all that the DOE only pays for...
Thank you for touching on that.
Yeah, the DOE only pays for 10% of K through 12 schools. Like, it's only 10% of the funding. If you genuinely believe that your state cannot recover 10% of funds to give to the DOE, to give to the school system, which they already barely give money to, sweetheart, you are sadly mistaken. And at that point, that's when you have to look at your elected officials and see what are they voting on in these budgets. What are they asking for every fiscal year? Because now with Doge, we're seeing that we're paying millions of dollars to watch shrimp run on treadmills.
Melanin pigment, right, is so unbelievable, George. They use it in computer chips now because it has an ability to transduce electrical energy. Can you imagine this? It has this incredible ability to hold on to and transduce and manipulate electrons, electronic energy, and photons, photonic energy. It's a fascinating molecule.
Melanin is the chemical key to life. There is nothing else to study in science but melanin. We call it chemi, which means black. The people who study melanin particles call what they're studying, the science is called chemistry. What you call chemistry, the study of melanin particles that go around in an orbit, and we call them electrons, protons, solitons. Those are melanin particles. That's why we call it chemistry. And the country you come from is called Kemet, which some people call Egypt. There's nothing else to study but melanin. And if you study chemistry or heard of chemistry and haven't heard the word melanin, you have just been studying social science.
California, we've got a bit of an unusual situation. Now, this first portion of the radar cycle, fairly bland and typical, but then you see these bands of very distinct cloud cover moving into the region. That is not rain, that is not snow, believe it or not. Military aircraft flying through the region is dropping chaff. Small bits of aluminum, sometimes it's made of plastic, or even metallicized paper products, but it's used as an anti-radar issue, and obviously they're up there practicing. Now, they won't confirm that, but I was in the Marine Corps for many years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is.
You know that Disney knew the Earth was flat?
First of all, lad, we've got to get all these medieval ideas out of your head. Clear the way for new ideas.
If the boy goes about saying the world is round, they'll take him for a lunatic.
The world is round? Yes, that's right. And it also goes around.
Do you believe he was saying it was one way or the other? It wasn't only Walt Disney.
Right before your surgery, I asked if you had packed your cell phone, and you said, which one?
Skylar, I was medicated. I could have said the world was flat.
You know what I think? I think you accidentally told the truth.
I think the voice in your head is one of the greatest mysteries of the universe. Where did it come from? Who is it? It doesn't sound like me. When I say the word yellow, and then I say it in my head, that's not me. Who is that? Is it my soul? Is it the light? Is it the universe?
Ethan Hawke, what do you think happens when we die?
You ready? I don't think we die. I don't think that we have an understanding of the divine concept of time. I don't think we're any more capable of understanding a clock than a dog is. And I think something much bigger is going on than we're aware of in our day-to-day routines. So I don't think I have the intelligence or the DNA makeup to answer that question.
How did President Nixon call the moon on a landline in 1969? Let's break down exactly how NASA says it worked. NASA's official explanation. NASA says Nixon's call to the Apollo 11 astronauts was a standard telephone call, but it was relayed through an advanced communication system. Here's how it supposedly worked. Nixon used a regular landline at the White House. The call was routed through NASA's Mission Control in Houston. Houston then transmitted Nixon's voice to the Goldstone Deep Space Communications Complex in California, which had an 85-foot radio antenna. The signal was beamed 239,000 miles to the moon, where the lunar module's VHF radio picked it up. Armstrong and Aldrin responded, and their voices were sent back to Earth the same way. Sounds simple, right? But here's why it shouldn't have worked. The problems with the moon phone call 1. The missing signal delay. The moon is 239,000 miles away, and radio signals take 1.3 seconds one way, meaning Nixon's call should have had at least a 2.6-second delay in responses. Yet, in the broadcast, Armstrong and Aldrin respond instantly, faster than even 1960s transatlantic calls. Even if Mission Control relayed the call instantly, you'd still hear the delay in the astronauts' responses, but there's barely any. 2. The weak lunar transmitter. The lunar module's radio had only 12 watts of power, about the strength of a household Wi-Fi router. Transmitting a clear two-way conversation across 239,000 miles with such low power? Highly unlikely. NASA's Deep Space Network needed massive radio dishes just to pick up Apollo signals, yet Nixon's voice came through crystal clear. 3. Earth's 1969 communication limitations. Long-distance calls in 1969 were unreliable. They had static, dropouts, and delays even across the U.S. Transatlantic calls required undersea cables or early satellites, which still had long pauses and interference. But somehow, Nixon's call to space, and even greater distance, worked perfectly with no issues. Before, radio interference and ionosphere distortion signals from the moon had to pass through Earth's ionosphere, which causes distortion and signal loss. But Nixon's call had no static or interference. Solar radiation and cosmic noise should have affected the transmission, yet the audio is flawless. Number 5. A perfect two-way conversation. The Apollo system supposedly allowed full duplex communication, meaning both parties could talk at the same time, like a modern cell phone. But even military radios in 1969 often used push-to-talk half duplex, meaning only one person could speak at a time. Somehow, Nixon's call functioned like a perfect two-way conversation, despite the extreme distance and limitations of 1960s tech. So, could Nixon really have called the moon?
One of the world's busiest airports had to shut down its entire operation for a whole 24 hours, and this is still ongoing because this just took place at 2 in the morning. This is London's Heathrow Airport. According to the news, a transformer blew up and it caused the whole airport to lose power and the surrounding community around it. Y'all can see all the planes trying to come into London's Heathrow Airport, but they had to be reverted back to their destination. They grounded over 1,300 flights, y'all. So a lot of witnesses said they heard a massive explosion. Now, I can't go too deep on this, y'all, but they have the counterterrorism police involved right now. They're not saying this, they're not talking about this on the news, but because they believe this was an act of terrorism from where, where Putin is.
Near London's Heathrow Airport has caused a significant power outage, leading to a shutdown of one of the world's busiest airports. London Fire Brigade is responding to the blaze that broke out at a nearby electrical substation. Heathrow is warning of significant disruption over the coming days and advised passengers to refrain from traveling to the airport until it reopens.
Yeah, is it just me, or is things going on all over the world? All around the world, there's something happening. I don't know, man, but I told y'all things were going to get a lot more interesting. The age of Aquarius is forcing us to change. Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's shift this here. Let's get it. Peace in.
This music conspiracy almost got me banned off TikTok. There's 88 constellations in the celestial sphere, and there's 88 keys on a grand piano. Then there's a repeating pattern of 12 keys within an octave called the chromatic scale. Just like there's 12 constellations along the ecliptic called the Zodiac signs. So we can put 12 points on our chromatic key ring. And since there's 12 tones on the color wheel, now we can see our major keys in color. Because when light passes through a medium, it creates 7 distinct wavelengths, which corresponds to the 7 scale degrees in a major scale. And those 7 scale degrees are the reason we have 7 diatonic modes. And of course, there's 7 days per week, named after the 7 celestial bodies that we can see from Earth with the naked eye. Then there's 3 notes within a triad with 4 types of triad, just like there's 3 months within the 4 seasons. And there's 3 trimesters before the baby gets here. Just like it's 3 mother letters, 7 double letters, and 12 simple letters. 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, right? 22 times 4 is 88. Music is magic.
The pub scene in Pinocchio, and you'll remember this when you saw it as a kid, it gave you a creepy feeling. He talks about bringing the boys, and then he starts whispering what happens to the boys. They don't come back as boys.
How would you blokes like to make some real money? I'm collecting stupid little boys, and I takes them to Pleasure Island. But the law, there's no bits, they never come back as boys.
Crazy.
Over there is the Lincoln Memorial. Over there, students, is the White House. And over there was the Jefferson Memorial. This sucks.
Jefferson.
That's just for one picture?
No!
Please. We can roll this one.
Come on, gather around, let's get this over with.
Well, Nixon, J. Edgar Hoover was director of the FBI from 1924 until his death in 1972. He was a great American.
He was a fascist transvestite, and I hope he rots in hell.
You may not want to hear it, but if you stuck on downers, you can't get far. I don't know too many people that's on downers that's making millions. Downers talking about weed, talking about lean, those things right there. That's just my reality in life. Most people I see run these businesses and running multiple businesses, they're making that real money. They not get up and smoke a weed every day. They're not getting on lean every day. I'm sorry, but you got to cut that out.
Hey guys, hope you're having a good day. Does anybody think it's weird that all of the astronauts that have been to the moon, all the dudes that have walked on the moon apparently, are Freemasons? Like, I was like, okay, like maybe one or two, like that's like still a little weird, but every single one? And we know exactly what lodge they go to, what rank. Yeah, Tejon Lodge number 104, huh? Colorado Springs, James, huh? Here's Buzz Aldrin's lodge number right there. Edgar Mitchell. Yeah. James Irwin. Yeah. We got Leroy out here repping lodge number 82 out of Colorado. Coincidence? Don't believe in those. But I don't think anybody's landing on the moon. We literally see the blue sky through it. We can picture stars through it. Like, it's not a physical object, dude. It's like a plasma.
Alright, family, there you have today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, y'all. Sunday, what's on the menu today? What's going on for you guys this Sunday, y'all? I don't got much going on today. I know I said I was supposed to clean my car and clean my fish tank. I'm gonna try to do that today, water the plants, blow my yard out. It's been windy again. Today's a calm 80-degree day. I think I'm gonna go cook a nice steak, go to the store, get a nice steak, asparagus, some salad, maybe some bacon wrapped jalapenos on the menu today. Of course, end my day with a nice trail run. That's the plan today, y'all. Hope everyone out there has a good Sunday. Hopefully spend some time with some family, get some good food in you. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on the next one. Y'all have a good one. Later.